The light in Laboratory 7 flickered as Dr. Ryan Hale leaned over the glass containment chamber. The room smelled of metal and ozone, and the hum of alien machinery filled the silence. He wasn't supposed to be there alone. The Galactic Council had made that clear. No human was allowed direct contact with the new species. But Ryan couldn't stop thinking about it. The creature inside wasn't like anything he had ever seen. It wasn't human, but it wasn't monstrous either. It was confusing. The being sat quietly, watching him through the transparent shield. Its skin shimmered like liquid silver under the pale lights. Two eyes, too human to ignore, blinked slowly. When it breathed, the air around it rippled like heat rising from a desert road. Ryan took a step closer, his reflection mixing with the creature's face on the glass. He had spent the last 3 years working on alien biology, but this subject E9, made his thoughts spiral in ways that frightened him. He tapped his data pad, pretending to check readings, but his eyes kept drifting back to the creature's posture, calm, elegant, almost curious. Suddenly, the intercom crackled. "Dr. Hale, you're not authorized to be in there. Please exit the lab immediately." Ryan ignored it. He moved closer, heart pounding. Something about those eyes made him stay. Then the creature spoke. Its voice wasn't a sound, it was like a vibration inside his skull. Smooth, calm, amused. "Human. Are you thinking about what's between my legs? Is that why you're so confused?" Ryan froze. For a second he thought he'd misheard. Then the voice echoed again, this time softer, teasing but strange. His face flushed. What did you just say?" The creature tilted its head, silver strands of hair brushing its face. "You keep staring. I can feel your confusion. Humans think with their eyes too much." Ryan took a step back, embarrassed and alarmed. It wasn't just reading his face, it was reading his thoughts. "No," he stammered. I was trying to understand your anatomy. You're not like any species we've cataloged." "Of course not," the creature replied. "You humans name everything you meet. You like control, but you cannot name what you do not understand." Ryan's pulse quickened. "Then tell me what you are." The being smiled, if that expression could be called a smile. "I am between your science and your fear. You built lungs that breathe air. We built bodies that breathe light." Ryan frowned. "Breathe light?" The creature raised its hand and pressed it against the glass. The chamber filled with a faint glow pulsing like a heartbeat. Ryan's instruments went wild. Radiation, temperature, and quantum readings all spiking at once. What are you doing?" he whispered. "Showing you," it said. "This is how we live. This is how we feel. You think I'm strange, but maybe you are the strange one." The glow faded and silence returned. Ryan stood frozen, trying to steady his breath. For years, humanity had searched the stars for intelligent life, and now here it was inside a containment unit, mocking his thoughts like a mirror. He took a slow breath. "If you can read my thoughts, then you know I don't mean harm." The creature blinked. "Intentions are noise. You are curious, yes. But curiosity is the first step to destruction. You humans always touch before you understand." Its words struck deep. Ryan had seen that truth too many times. World studied, then ruined in the name of progress. But something in the creature's tone wasn't pure hostility. There was sadness, or maybe loneliness. He looked at it again. "What's your name?" It hesitated. "Names are limits, but your kind cannot think without them. You may call me Lyra." "Lyra," Ryan repeated softly. "All right. I'm Ryan." The creature's gaze softened. "Ryan," it whispered, as if testing the shape of his name. For a moment, they just stared at each other, human and alien, divided by glass and fear. Then Lyra said something that made his blood run cold. "Human, your machines are lying. The air here is not safe for me. If you keep me in this chamber, I will die before your sun rises again." Ryan's eyes widened. He checked the readings, oxygen, pressure, radiation. Everything seemed normal. "That's impossible. The chamber is perfectly—" Lyra interrupted, voice trembling now. "Your science cannot see what's killing me, but you can feel it, can't you?" Ryan swallowed hard. He didn't know what to believe, the readings or the fear in her voice. And for the first time he wondered if breaking the law to come here might have just saved a life. Ryan's heart raced as he stared at the glowing numbers on his screen. Everything looked stable. oxygen level, pressure, temperature. The machine said the alien was fine. But Lyra's voice echoed inside his mind like a trembling whisper. Your machines are lying. The air here is killing me. He didn't know which to trust, science or instinct. Lyra sat silently inside the chamber, her silver skin dimmer now, almost gray. The light that once shimmered across her body was fading. Her breathing had slowed, soft and shallow, like a candle losing its flame. Ryan pressed his hand against the glass. Lyra, can you hear me? Her eyes opened slowly. You humans trust numbers more than life itself, she murmured. Your machines measure what they understand and ignore what they do not. Ryan's throat tightened. He could see her pain. Even without his instruments, he felt it. Something was wrong, something his equipment couldn't detect. He turned back to his terminal and started typing fast. I'm going to override the filters. Maybe your species needs a different gas ratio. Lyra's voice came again, weaker now. Don't. If you change it without knowing, you might kill me faster. Ryan hesitated. He hated being powerless. He had studied for years to understand alien physiology, yet now he was watching one die, and he didn't even know why. Then he saw it, a flicker on one of the old data graphs. The chamber's light sensors were reading strange radiation patterns. Something invisible was leaking from the containment field. Wait, he whispered. It's the barrier itself. It's emitting. He checked again. Photonic residue, but inverted polarity. He looked back at Lyra. You said you breathe light. This chamber is filled with the wrong kind. Lyra's faint voice answered. You finally see it. Ryan rushed to the control console. The intercom buzzed. Dr. Hale, step away from the containment unit. You're violating Galactic Law Protocol 4. He slammed his palm on the mute button. Not now. His fingers flew over the keyboard. He bypassed 3 security locks, ignoring the flashing red warnings. Every line of code felt like a countdown to disaster. Ryan, Lyra said softly, if you open the chamber, your council will punish you. They will call it interference. He met her gaze through the glass. Let them. I won't let you die because of their rules. For a second, he saw something in her eyes, not fear, but surprise. Maybe trust, maybe something deeper. Ryan hit the final key. The chamber lights dimmed and a low hum filled the room. The glass shimmered, then cracked with a faint hiss. A wave of warm light burst out, not blinding, but soft and golden, like the glow of a sunrise. Ryan shielded his eyes. When he looked again, Lyra was standing free, her skin bright and alive once more. The air itself seemed to vibrate around her. The machine sparked and failed one by one. Ryan, she whispered, you have just broken a law older than your world. He stepped back, stunned. I just saved your life, Lyra smiled faintly, and doomed your own. Before he could reply, the lab door slammed open. 2 armored galactic wardens stormed in, weapons drawn. Their helmets reflected the golden light still pouring from Lyra's body. Step away from the entity, one shouted. Dr. Hale, you are under arrest for direct contamination. Ryan raised his hands. She was dying. The chamber was killing her. The second warden sneered. You think your emotions matter to the law? This being is property of the council. You've endangered the research project. Lyra turned toward them, her eyes burning bright. Property? Her voice echoed like thunder, shaking the air itself. You dare call life property? The wardens froze. The light around her pulsed and the metal walls trembled. Ryan could feel the heat building, not from anger but from energy. Lyra, stop, he shouted. They'll kill you! But she didn't stop. The light around her grew stronger, lifting small objects into the air. The warden staggered back, shouting orders. Then suddenly the glow vanished. Lyra collapsed into Ryan's arms, her body shaking. The room was silent except for the soft hum of broken machines. Ryan held her tightly. What did you do? Her voice was faint. I showed them a fraction of truth. Now they will fear me even more. He looked toward the door. The wardens were gone, running for reinforcements. Ryan whispered, We have to leave. They'll be back with more. Lyra's eyes met his. Where will you go, human? This planet is not yours anymore. It never was. Ryan hesitated, but there was no time. He grabbed his coat and guided her toward the emergency exit. Alarms blared through the corridors. As they ran into the dark hallway, Lyra spoke softly, almost to herself. You humans say you seek knowledge. But you only find cages, Ryan didn't answer. He just tightened his grip on her arm and kept running, knowing that with every step he was walking deeper into a secret that could destroy both their worlds. The corridor lights flashed red as Ryan and Lyra ran through the underground facility. Sirens screamed behind them, echoing off metal walls. The air smelled of smoke and static. Every few seconds, Ryan looked back, half expecting galactic wardens to appear with plasma rifles. Lyra's steps were light and soundless, even though she was clearly weak. Her silver skin flickered dimly like a dying flame. The glow that had once filled the lab was fading again. "Keep moving," Ryan said, breathing hard. "There's an exit up ahead." They reached a security door marked authorized personnel only. Ryan slammed his ID card against the scanner. The screen turned red, access denied. "Come on." He growled, trying again. The lock beeped twice, refusing to open. Lyra placed her hand over his. "Let me try." Her palm glowed faintly and the scanner flickered. Within seconds, the heavy door slid open with a hiss. Ryan stared at her. "How did you—" She looked at him calmly. "Your machines speak in light. I only answered them in their own language." Ryan almost smiled, but there was no time. They slipped through the doorway and into a maintenance tunnel filled with flickering lamps and buzzing wires. For the first time, they slowed down. Ryan checked his wrist display. All systems in the lab were locked down. They had maybe 5 minutes before a full security sweep began. He turned to Lyra. "You said this planet isn't ours anymore." "What did you mean?" Lyra looked down the tunnel, her expression unreadable. "Your council does not tell you everything, does it?" Ryan frowned. "Tell me what?" Lyra's voice was quiet, almost sad. "Your kind discovered my people long before you admitted it. You found our world, drained it, and left. You called it a resource colony, but to us it was home." Ryan stopped walking. "That's not true. The council says we only explore uninhabited worlds." Lyra turned her silver eyes toward him. "Then why do your ships carry our children's bones?" Ryan felt his chest tighten. No, that can't be right." Lyra looked away. "Humans call us energy beings. They think we are made of light. But we are not light, we are life that feeds on light. You trapped us in metal, studied us like insects. The council calls it research. We call it death." The silence between them was heavy. Ryan wanted to argue, to defend his people, but he couldn't. Deep down, he'd always known the Galactic Council was capable of cruelty, all in the name of progress. He whispered, "Then why are you here, Lyra? Why did they capture you?" She smiled faintly. "Because I was the one who tried to speak for peace." Before he could respond, a deep rumble shook the tunnel. The lights flickered and the floor trembled. From behind them came the sound of metal boots. "They've found us," Ryan said. Lyra took a deep breath. "Then we must not run." "Not yet," Ryan turned in shock. "What are you talking about?" Lyra placed her hand against the wall. A ripple of golden light spread across the metal like sunlight touching water. "They will track us as long as I carry their mark." "What mark?" "The Council's restraint code. They burned it into my energy form when they took me." Ryan didn't understand, but he could see it. As the golden light spread, strange symbols glowed under Lyra's skin, alien runes pulsing like tiny stars. She winced in pain. "It binds me. It tells them where I am." Ryan clenched his fists. "How do we remove it?" Lyra looked up at him, her expression soft but resigned. "You can't. Only another of my kind could break it, or someone willing to lose part of himself." "What does that mean?" She stepped closer, her voice gentle. "You study the body. You know how life connects through energy. If you link your life force with mine, the mark will fade. But it will hurt you deeply." Ryan hesitated. "You're saying, share my life with you?" "Yes," she said quietly. "A piece of your light for a piece of mine." For a moment, he couldn't speak. The thought was insane, impossible. But when he saw the pain in her eyes, he didn't care. "Do it," he said. Lyra reached out and touched his chest, just above his heart. The world went silent. The tunnel lights dimmed and a soft glow spread from her hand into him. It wasn't fire or electricity. It was warmth, alive and vast, like standing in the sun after years of darkness. Ryan gasped. His vision blurred. He could feel her thoughts, her memories, her grief. He saw flashes of burning cities, children made of light screaming as darkness fell across their skies. Then, just as suddenly, it was over. Lyra staggered back, her skin glowing brightly again. The runes on her body faded, dissolving into dust. Ryan dropped to his knees, gasping. His body ached, his heart beat wild. Lyra knelt beside him. "You did it." "The mark is gone." He managed a weak smile. "Guess we're both free now." But before she could answer, an explosion rocked the tunnel entrance. Smoke and debris filled the air. Through the haze, Ryan could hear voices shouting. Lyra stood, her glow bright and fierce once more. "They're coming, Ryan. The law of light has been broken. They will not stop now." Ryan forced himself to stand. "Then neither will we." Together they disappeared into the shadows, one human, one being of light, both now hunted by the same law they had just defied. Ryan woke up to the sound of wind howling through broken metal. His head ached and his throat felt dry like sandpaper. When he opened his eyes, he wasn't in the lab anymore. The ceiling above him was cracked concrete, pieces of rusted machinery surrounded him, and the cold blue light of a dying moon spilled through a shattered window. "Lyra?" he called weakly. No answer. He pushed himself up slowly, his body trembling. His heart beat faster than normal, and every pulse made the air shimmer slightly around him, like heat waves. Then he remembered what had happened. Her touch, the light, the connection. He looked down at his hands and froze. They were glowing, faintly but unmistakably. Tiny golden veins of light pulsed beneath his skin. Before panic could take over, a soft voice echoed from the corner. "You're awake," Ryan turned. Lyra stood in the shadows, her glow dimmed to a soft silver. Her eyes looked tired but calm. "How long was I out?" he asked. "2 planetary cycles," she said quietly. "You were between life and light." Ryan rubbed his temples. "You mean, I almost died?" Lyra nodded. "You gave part of your essence to me. In return, my energy entered you. Humans were never meant to hold light like ours. Your body is changing, Ryan." He looked at his glowing hands again. "Changing how?" Lyra walked closer, kneeling beside him. "You can feel the world now. Every breath, every particle of light, every movement in the dark, it all speaks to you, but it will also burn you from within if you fight it." Ryan took a deep breath. She was right. He could feel the air humming, the faint radiation of the moon, the static of her presence. It was overwhelming yet strangely beautiful. He looked at her. "You knew this would happen, didn't you?" Lyra hesitated. "Yes, but it was the only way to save us both." Ryan laughed bitterly. "Save us? Now I'm a walking light bulb." Lyra tilted her head, confused by his sarcasm. "Is that bad?" Ryan smiled faintly. "It's complicated." She sat beside him, her tone softer. "You're not just glowing, Ryan. You're connected to something greater. You carry a part of the Forbidden Sun." Ryan frowned. "The Forbidden Sun?" Lyra looked away, her eyes distant. "It's what your council calls Sector X4. To them, it's a dead star. To my people, it's sacred, the heart of our life. When your ships came to study it, they stole fragments of our light. That is why the war began." Ryan felt a chill. "You mean humanity started a war without even realizing it?" She nodded. "You broke what should never have been touched. And now the council hides the truth. They erased every record, every survivor, except me." Ryan stood up slowly, his anger growing. "So that's why they captured you." "You're the last witness." Lyra's voice was low. "They fear what I know. They fear what I am." Before Ryan could respond, a sharp noise echoed through the building, a mechanical buzz followed by footsteps. Lyra's head snapped up. "They found us." Ryan grabbed his gear bag and peered through a crack in the wall. Down below, sleek black drones hovered across the ruins, their red scanners slicing through the dust. "Council hunters," he whispered. "We need to move." Lyra stood, her glow brightening slightly. "No, Ryan, you need to move. They're tracking me by the echo of my light." Ryan shook his head. "I'm not leaving you." Lyra stared at him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she smiled faintly. "Humans, always breaking rules for the sake of hearts." He ignored her tone. "There's a transport hub north of here. If we reach it, we can get off-world before they close the airlocks." Lyra nodded. "Then let us hurry, before the hunters close their circle." They moved through the ruins quietly, keeping to the shadows. Every now and then, Ryan could hear the hum of drones above. He kept his breathing steady, but the glow under his skin made hiding difficult. At one point, Lyra stopped suddenly. She looked at him, her voice urgent. "Your light, it's growing." "You're emitting energy without control." Ryan frowned. I can't stop it. She reached out and grabbed his wrist. The moment their skin touched, a surge of light flashed between them. The nearby drones froze midair, their red sensors flickering. Then, they exploded. Ryan stumbled back, his body shaking. What just happened? Lyra's eyes widened. Your energy. It reacted with mine. You just destroyed Council Tech with a thought. Ryan's breath came fast. That's impossible. No, Lyra said softly. That's evolution. They stared at each other in silence. Somewhere above, the night sky shimmered with faint streaks of light. Not stars, but ships descending. The Council was coming in full force. Lyra's voice broke the silence. Ryan, what you carry now, it's not just power. It's a message. The light remembers everything it touches. They will come for you, not just for me. Ryan clenched his fists, then let them come. I'm done running. Lyra smiled, her glow growing warmer. Be careful what you wish for, human. The law of light does not forgive, and it never forgets. As the ground shook beneath their feet and the sky burned with approaching ships, Ryan knew there was no turning back. He wasn't just helping an alien anymore. He was standing between two civilizations, one built on lies, the other on light. The ground trembled as galactic council ships tore through the clouds. Their engines screamed like thunder, shaking the ruins around Ryan and Lyra. Searchlights cut across the dark landscape, hunting for movement. Ryan's skin still glowed faintly beneath his torn sleeves. Each heartbeat sent a shimmer of gold racing through his veins. He tried to hide it under his jacket, but the light refused to stay quiet. Ryan, Lyra said softly, glancing upward. They're not looking for me anymore. They're looking for you. He gave a bitter laugh. Guess that makes me special. Lyra's expression was serious. No human has ever carried light within them. The Council will see you as a weapon, or a warning. Before Ryan could reply, a sudden beam of blue energy struck the ground beside them, throwing both backward. Dust filled the air. Drones descended like a swarm of insects, their metallic wings humming in unison. Ryan coughed and pulled Lyra to her feet. We have to move now! They sprinted through the debris, weaving between shattered walls. Bolts of plasma hissed past them, burning holes in the concrete. One drone swooped low, its scanner locking onto Ryan's chest. Subject 0 confirmed. Human hybrid detected. Termination authorized. Ryan's pulse spiked. He threw his hands forward instinctively, and the world exploded in light. A wave of golden energy burst from his palms, sweeping across the sky. The drones shattered instantly, raining molten metal. The shockwave rolled through the ruins, shaking the ground. When the light faded, everything was silent. Smoke rose from the wreckage. Lyra stared at him wide-eyed. Ryan, you controlled it. He looked at his hands in disbelief. They were still glowing, tiny sparks of energy dancing between his fingers. I didn't mean to. You reacted, she said softly. Your instincts are learning faster than your mind. Ryan took a shaky breath. If I can do that, maybe we have a chance. Lyra shook her head. Power without understanding is destruction. That light inside you is not meant for human flesh. It will consume you from within. Her words struck him like ice. Then how do I control it? She hesitated, looking toward the horizon. There is one place. The Temple of the First Light, hidden beneath the sands of Horus Prime. My people built it before your council destroyed our world. It can teach you balance, then that's where we go, Ryan said firmly. Lyra smiled faintly. It won't be easy. Horus Prime is quarantined. Any ship entering that sector is destroyed on sight. Ryan smirked. Good thing I'm already on their kill list. Before Lyra could respond, a deep metallic voice echoed from above. Dr. Ryan Hale, you are in violation of Galactic Law Protocol 4. Surrender immediately or face annihilation. Ryan looked up. A massive dropship hovered overhead, its weapons glowing bright blue. Lyra grabbed his arm. They'll fire. You can't fight that ship. He closed his eyes, the glow beneath his skin intensifying. I don't have to fight it. I just have to survive it. Ryan! The dropship fired. A beam of plasma shot downward, engulfing the ruins in blinding light. The explosion shook the sky. For a moment, everything vanished in a roar of fire and dust. Then, from the center of the blast, a figure rose, surrounded by a halo of gold. Ryan floated above the ground, his body glowing brighter than the explosion itself. The energy around him pulsed like a living storm. The plasma beam bent and scattered, unable to touch him. Inside the dropship, alarms screamed. The pilot shouted, "Energy surge off the charts. He's absorbing the blast!" Ryan opened his eyes. They shone like miniature suns. Enough. With a motion of his hand, the air rippled and the dropship split apart like paper, dissolving into fragments of light that drifted into the wind. When it was over, Ryan fell back to the ground, landing hard. His glow dimmed to a faint shimmer. Lyra rushed to him. "You shouldn't be alive." He looked at her weakly. "Maybe I'm not." She placed her hand over his chest. "Your heart still beats. But the energy inside you, it's changing you faster than I thought." Ryan sat up slowly, clutching his head. "If I don't control it soon, I'll explode, won't I?" Lyra didn't answer. She didn't need to. He exhaled sharply. "Then we reach Orus Prime, whatever it takes." Lyra looked toward the dark horizon where stars flickered faintly. The path to Orus Prime runs through the void corridor, a place where light itself disappears. Only one ship can cross it. Ryan met her gaze. "And where do we find that ship?" Her lips curved into a faint smile. "We don't find it. We steal it." A small spark of laughter escaped him despite the pain. "You're starting to sound human." "And you," she replied softly, "are starting to sound like something more." Above them, the sky burned with falling wreckage. Below, the ruins glowed faintly from Ryan's lingering light. For the first time, he understood why the Council feared him. He wasn't just a human anymore. He was the bridge between flesh and light, and every star in the galaxy was about to learn his name. The galaxy was asleep when Ryan and Lyra reached the hangar city of Epsilon 9. It floated in the upper atmosphere like a wounded moon, half destroyed, half alive. The air smelled of burned fuel and static. Broken ships drifted in silence, their engines flickering like dying stars. "This is where we'll find it," Lyra whispered. "The ship that can cross the void corridor." Ryan looked around. "You're sure it's here?" Lyra nodded slowly. "The Eclipser. It was built using fragments of the Forbidden Sun, banned technology. Your council erased its name from history, but I remember. They moved through the shadows, hiding behind fallen cargo and collapsed beams. Ryan's faint glow made him a walking target, so he wrapped himself in a thick coat. Still, small traces of gold shimmered under his skin like trapped lightning. As they reached the docking bay, Ryan froze. The ship stood before them, the sleek, black and curved like a blade. Its surface shimmered with shifting symbols that seemed to breathe. "That thing looks alive," he whispered. "It is," Lyra replied softly. "It feeds on light just like my people. That's why it can cross the void, the place where light dies." Ryan stared at it for a long moment. "And you're sure this will work?" "No," she said simply. "But it's the only chance we have." Before they could move, a metallic voice echoed through the bay. "Unauthorized presence detected." From the shadows, 4 council sentinels appeared, their armor glowing cold blue. Energy rifles hummed in their hands. "Hands up," one ordered. "By galactic decree, you are under arrest." Ryan raised his hands slowly, his mind racing. "Lyra, get behind me." But Lyra stepped forward instead. "No, let me speak." Her body began to glow, faint at first, then brighter. The air shimmered. "You call yourselves protectors," she said, her voice echoing through the metal walls. "Yet you destroy what you fear. Look at him, a human who carries light." "Is that a crime?" The sentinels hesitated. One of them spoke coldly. "You are a weapon, not a voice." Lyra's glow flared. "Then hear the weapon speak." The bay filled with blinding radiance. The sentinels staggered, their visors cracking. Ryan felt a surge of energy crawl across his skin. Wild, unstoppable. Without thinking, he reached for her hand, trying to steady her. The moment their fingers touched, the world erupted in light. A wave of golden fire swept through the bay, lifting dust and metal into the air. The sentinels were thrown back, their armor short-circuiting. When the brightness faded, only silence remained. Ryan gasped for breath. "You didn't have to do that." Lyra looked at him with pain in her eyes. "They left me no choice. The council doesn't talk. It only silences." Ryan nodded grimly. "Then let's make sure they never silence us again." They climbed into the Eclipser. The door sealed behind them with a soft hiss. The cockpit glowed faintly, symbols dancing across the glass. Ryan slid into the pilot's seat, feeling the hum of strange power beneath his hands. Lyra placed her palm on the console, and the ship responded instantly, panels lighting up. Systems activating like an awakening creature. Coordinates locked, she said. Destination Horus Prime. Ryan glanced at her. What happens if we fail? Lyra met his gaze. Then the galaxy will never know the truth, that humans once stole the heart of a star. He exhaled and pulled the throttle. Then let's bring the truth home. The ship roared to life, breaking free from the hangar. Alarms blared behind them and Council interceptors rose in pursuit. 3 ships on our tail, Ryan shouted. Lyra's eyes glowed. Hold steady. The void corridor is close. Through the viewport, Ryan saw it. A vast black tear in space, swirling with violet mist. It wasn't a wormhole. It was something else, and something alive. That's the void, he whispered. Lyra nodded. Where light forgets its name. Once we enter, no machine can follow. The interceptors fired. Plasma streaks cut through the void, exploding near the Eclipser's wings. Ryan gritted his teeth. Hold together, baby, just hold together. As they reached the edge of the corridor, Lyra placed both hands on the controls. Close your eyes, Ryan. Your human senses cannot understand what's inside. He obeyed. The ship plunged forward and the universe vanished. There was no sound. No color, no feeling of motion. Just emptiness, stretching forever. Ryan felt his thoughts begin to unravel, his heartbeat slowing. Lyra, he whispered into the silence. Her voice came faint and distant. Do not fear. The void tests truth. It shows what you hide. Suddenly, flashes appeared around him. Visions of his past. His childhood, his first discovery, his fear of failure. Then he saw something else, himself burning with light, standing above a world in flames. Is this the future? He gasped. No, Lyra whispered. It's a warning. Ryan reached toward her, but his hand passed through her like smoke. You're fading. He shouted. I am part of this place, she said softly. I was born from light, but you carry its shadow. Her voice grew weaker. If you wish to live, you must let the light choose. Do not fight it, Ryan, become it. Ryan clenched his fists, the golden glow beneath his skin flaring painfully. The ship shook violently as the corridor screamed around them, and then with a blinding flash they burst through the other side, stars exploding into view. The Eclipser drifted in silence. Lyra collapsed beside him, barely conscious. Ryan reached out, trembling. We made it. Horus Prime. Outside the window, a massive desert planet glowed beneath a dying sun. The ground shimmered with golden dust, like the surface of a buried star. Ryan stared in awe. The birthplace of light. Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. Yes, and the place where it all ends, or begins again. The Eclipser descended through the golden clouds of Horus Prime like a falling ember. The air shimmered thick with dust that sparkled like powdered light. Below them stretched endless desert, glowing dunes of gold and crimson, silent and still. Ryan guided the ship down carefully. His hands trembled. Every nerve in his body burned with a strange energy, as if his blood had turned into sunlight. Lyra sat beside him, pale and weak. Her glow flickered like a dying candle. You need to rest, Ryan said softly. She shook her head. No. The temple of the first light lies ahead. Once we reach it, I can return what was stolen. Ryan frowned. Return it, you mean the light inside me? Lyra's eyes met his. Not just yours, all of it. Every fragment of the forbidden sun that your people took. If I fail, this planet dies completely, and your body burns out with it. Ryan looked out at the horizon. In the distance, the desert cracked open like a wound, revealing a deep canyon glowing with faint light. At its center rose a massive stone structure, ancient and half-buried yet still alive with energy. The temple, Lyra whispered. They left the ship and began their descent into the canyon. The air grew heavy, pressing against Ryan's chest. The closer they walked, the brighter the ground became, until every grain of sand looked like molten gold. When they reached the temple gates, Ryan stopped. Massive doors carved with alien symbols towered before them. The carvings seemed to move, shifting between images of suns, stars, and human faces. Lyra placed her hand on the door. It recognizes you, she said softly. Part of its light lives in you now. As Ryan reached out, the symbols flared to life. The gates opened with a low hum, and warm light spilled out like a sunrise. Inside, the temple was silent. Columns of crystal rose high above them, humming softly. In the center stood a pool of liquid light, glowing, swirling, alive. Lyra stepped toward it. This is the heart of Horus, the pure source of my people's power. When your council stole from it, the balance was broken. Now to restore it, we must return what was taken. Ryan looked at the pool, then at her. If I give it back, what happens to me? She hesitated. The human body cannot survive without darkness. The light inside you will consume everything it touches. You'll disappear. He went still. So I die. Lyra's voice trembled. You will become part of the light, forever. Ryan smiled faintly. That's a poetic way to say it. She stepped closer. You don't have to do this. I can try to extract the energy myself. He shook his head. No, you said this is balance. I took what wasn't mine. Maybe this is how I fix it. For a long moment they stood facing each other, human and alien, both changed by light. Then Ryan stepped toward the pool. Lyra grabbed his arm. Ryan, thank you. He looked back at her, eyes glowing gold. Don't thank me yet. He placed his hand into the pool. Instantly a surge of light exploded upward, filling the chamber with blinding brilliance. Ryan gasped, his body shaking violently as the golden energy tore through him. Lyra screamed, trying to pull him back, but he shook his head. It's okay. I can feel it. It's going home. The light spread from his chest outward, covering him completely. His voice grew softer. Tell them, Lyra, tell the galaxy. We were never meant to steal stars. Then with one final breath, his body dissolved into pure light, rising into the air like a golden flame before vanishing into the heart of Horus. The temple trembled. The pool burst into a radiant storm, shooting beams of light into the sky. Across the desert, the dead planet began to awaken. Cracks glowed with life, and the golden dust rose like a wave. Lyra fell to her knees, tears of silver rolling down her cheeks. She could feel his energy everywhere, in the wind, the sand, the light itself. Ryan, she whispered. You became the bridge. Above her, the clouds parted. The dying sun of Horus blazed once more, brighter than ever before. The storm cleared, and for the first time in centuries, the planet breathed. A voice echoed through the temple, soft, familiar, human. Lyra, the light belongs to everyone. She looked up, smiling through her tears. The golden glow surrounded her, wrapping her in warmth. Yes, she whispered. It does. When the Galactic Council ships finally arrived hours later, all they found was silence, and a temple glowing with impossible light. The readings showed no life signs, yet the energy levels were off every chart. Inside the pool, two faint lights danced together, one silver, one gold, and above the restored sun of Horus Prime, a new constellation appeared, shaped like a human figure reaching toward the stars. They called it the human who burned like a star. And across the galaxy, whispers spread of the man who gave up his darkness to bring light back to a dying world.